Hi Sarah. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through this, like kind of make this an overview screencast so it doesn't get too long and it's not too much of a pain to go through. Basically, the project is a real estate informative site. So there's gonna be it's just based on one area, Washington D.C., and it basically is gonna highlight all the neighborhoods in Washington D.C. So I'm gonna break down kind of the site here. We already actually I've coded the site out just the static pages. So you have your home, neighborhoods, blog, about us. The blog engine pretty much is going to run off the WordPress blog. About us is going to be a static page. Search listings is going to be a light box that I haven't made yet, and it's going to plug a third-party API called I hope I get this right, Spatial Match. So basically, it's like an MLS IDX. You can see it at spatialmatch.com. I'm gonna have a meeting with these people to figure out. It's basically you can embed their service, so it's not gonna be, I don't think, too painful. But every time people click the search listings, there'll be a light box that shows this spatial match IDX, so they can search neighborhoods and what's called the MLS. It's a real estate listing service that's nationwide here in the United States. Anyways, so this is Washington D.C. and these are the neighborhoods that they're going to kind of highlight. This is all static right now, so none of it's working. So there's going to be different areas that's going to pull in content. This, for example, is just going to pull in links from an RSS feed, and this is just going to put in links that they put. So these are kind of some things that I want to go over with you. Is like, how do you make these things editable on the back end in WordPress? I know we might be dealing with custom post types and custom post fields. So I know a plugin that can be used so that those can be created. But that's why I'm just gonna kind of go over this briefly. So I just want to let you know this is gonna highlight the art blog, which is essentially another category in their blog. So it will just pull up the latest post of that category. And here, this is something that I really will need help with, because I wasn't sure if you can use custom jQuery, because I've heard it's kind of a pain to use custom jQuery and then use it in your WordPress project. I don't know why, because I'm not as well versed as you. Or if there's a plugin that can just basically allow them to input images with hyperlinks. That's it. The easiest way I can explain this to you is that I would love for them to be able to create pages on their own and just be able to link to those pages. If we can do that, I think that's going to be a lot easier. So let's say here they want to have 4 images of different listings in a particular neighborhood. So they would put their own picture of that listing. Each picture would obviously be a hyperlink, and it would take you to that page that they've already created, obviously, that is housing the information for that place. All of these other things are externally linking, so I don't know how I can plug that in from the back end, so that they could just plug in their Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google G+ account. If they need any additional added work, we'll charge them for that. But I mean, this essentially is just, I want them to be able to have this bare bones site. So I'm going to go to the neighborhoods page, and I'm going to also send you this PDF. It's kind of like, this is pretty much the home page that we just went over. The next one would be the neighborhoods page. You'll see that blog isn't here because it wasn't added at that time, and I'll have to clean this up because this is not complete. There's a lot of things that have been taken out of this current PDF, but here's basically a list of all the neighborhoods. Now this is set in stone, so I just want you to know that it mimics all of these neighborhoods that you see here. This is just another way to navigate to those neighborhood pages. So maybe it probably would be easier for me to fast forward to the sitemap, which I don't even think is here. Hold on, let me get the sitemap real quick. Here we have the sitemap. What I just showed you was the home page, and we're actually missing a blog page here because the secondary navigation would be neighborhoods, blog, and about us, just like here. So home, neighborhoods, blog, about us. Then just starting from the easiest page, about us just links to an about us page, and I think it's actually live here. Yeah, it does link to the about us page. This is just gonna have a Google map. The only content they'll need to edit is this. So I'm hoping they can do this through the WYSIWYG editor, because I know you can float images left and put headers and all that kind of stuff. So if they mess up the consistency of the styling, I'm not worried about it, because I'll just screencast them and show them what font size to maintain, or I don't know if WordPress allows you to put like an H3 tag, so then they'll start getting used to at least doing an H3 tag, and that'll pull the styling from the style sheet so that they won't be able to mess it up. I don't know. These are all questions that I have, but I'm trying to do this in the simplest form possible. So sure, they might have to change this phone number and this email address. We're just doing one form right now, so just kind of getting you up to speed on that. So here's the home page. Let's go to neighborhoods page. On the neighborhoods page, there's many neighborhoods, and I could probably improve this to have like multiple pages back here, so it looks like obviously there's going to be many neighborhoods. Okay, so that's one use of where I see pages being very practical, and we'll just use a neighborhood template. And I've made some of these templates in CSS, so really it's all tying this thing together into WordPress. So these are going to be the different neighborhoods. Each one's going to be its own page. It has to. Now, let's just go to a neighborhood. Right now, none of these are active. But if I go to the front map and I go to DuPont Circle, that will take you to what a neighborhood page will look like. And in the CSS, you'll see that all the neighborhoods have their own color already. And I'll go through the CSS in another screencast. I just want to go over the main concept here first and see if this is something that you'd like to do, and then I can fill you in on more of the details. So we're in a neighborhood. The neighborhood is called DuPont Circle. So according to the sitemap, you're already at the neighborhood. Now, neighborhood has places, a gallery, which is over here, history, which is right here. It's just called history now, not history and stats, and points of interest, which is right here. The news, events, lifestyle links, facts is all gone. We're not doing these pages anymore. So every neighborhood has at least these 4 pages that you see right here. Let me see if I can highlight them. That wasn't very good. But yeah, those 4 that you see highlighted. So here's where I kind of run into a dilemma. I get that all the pages will need to be created. So if you can just hook up the WordPress and I'll create the pages, I have no problem doing that. I just want to have something that systematically that works so that they can add the kinds of things that I'll continue to go over here. But I want you to understand the concept of that there's neighborhoods. Okay, and then when you're in a neighborhood, each neighborhood's going to have a different header color. And I've already set that up in the CSS, so it's just a matter of calling the class. I just wanted you to realize that this is going to even drill down further. So if you go to places, we're going to use the same template that you just saw on this neighborhood page. On this neighborhood page. Is it linking? Yeah, there it is. We're going to use the same format and layout. We're not going to change it. We want to keep things as consistently as possible. But this is where they're going to actually need to add pages on the place level. So DuPont Circle again is a neighborhood, but let's say they want to advertise this building called the Oxford House. Now, what if they have 3 other buildings in DuPont Circle that they want to highlight? They need to be able to add that information. They need to be able to add other pages. And so they're going to have their own templates for those pages. So let's go to Oxford House, and you're going to see how it changes a little bit. We go to Oxford House. All the places, I call these places now because they are places. They're buildings, houses, etc. They're places within neighborhoods. So all the places are going to have the same blue color. So we don't have to drive ourselves crazy with allowing the end user to have a color picker and then choose a specific. We're not going to do that. That being said, for the neighborhoods, they're already going to be set with the colors that we've chosen, okay, which actually match these colors that you see here on their respective circles. So here you're in a place. You know that because the name of the place now takes the H1 tag, and the name of the neighborhood now is decremented to like an H3. I think I have it. But you're going to notice something else. Each place, once they're in the place, this link places needs to take them now back to this page. So I don't know how to do that with the PHP code to say, hey, just go back to the place of your respective neighborhood. I don't know how to do that. So that's a problem for me. Listings is just going to lead to a page that I haven't created yet, but again, it's just going to highlight. We're going to embed this spatial match into the body. So if they can do that through, I don't know, like an input custom field type on the back end that they could just plug in the particular embed code in there, and then it displays that, then we're good. We just need to have an empty div placeholder here. And the gallery, I still need to find a simple gallery plugin for WordPress that we could use. So for example, on the neighborhoods page, if I go to gallery here, this is just essentially what I want the gallery to look like. Just a 4 column, row gallery. Nothing fancy, just this. So when they click the gallery, obviously a light box will come up, and then they can go through the images. And we're looking for a plugin that would have a gallery that allows a description of the image. History is just going to be static content, but they need to be able to edit it. So they're probably just going to use the WYSIWYG editor in WordPress, and they'll just have to put a date here, and then put a list, and then add their information. So this doesn't have to be so customized with a custom field type. It's just that it needs to lay out like this. They could probably lay it out a little differently. I just want this area to be open to the WordPress WYSIWYG editor. What else? So yeah, but pulling in the style. So I don't know how it would. I'm sure it would just pull this from the global font family and all that kind of stuff, which are all Google fonts, by the way. So none of this stuff are off kind of random fonts that would need special permission. Points of interest, again, it's going to be just block level elements. Like you have your header 3, an image. So I don't know if this would require custom post types too, or if it would just be a matter of letting them use the WYSIWYG editor and putting the header first, and then showing them hit enter, put your image in, have it float left, and then just type your text. I know it's going to be a matter of also educating them on how to enter content. Which I don't mind doing. So if that's the easiest route to do it, let's do that. I really want easy content areas to be filled. My problem is kind of the whole hierarchy structure, and that is that now you get that each neighborhood has a places page, a points of interest, a history page, and a gallery page. Each single neighborhood has that, and there's 27 neighborhoods. So while I already have the templates made for all of these neighborhoods, I need to essentially create those templates in WordPress and have them, the neighborhoods will all be built out, so we don't have to worry about them adding new neighborhoods. And if they do, they could come back later and we could recontract to do that work. I'm not going to add any more to what the scope is. But you also see within the places page, there's the listings and gallery, which I showed you here. If you go to places, Oxford House, it has this places just takes them back to this list. It doesn't go deeper down into another, child set of pages. Listings again will just be a blank page, and I'll make sure I design it where they can house this spatial match, which is a very interactive, third-party API application. And then the gallery, I didn't actually code it out, but it'll look the same as the gallery I just showed you here on the neighborhoods page. So like right here for this neighborhood, it would just have the squares that I just showed you. Okay, maybe it's not on this one. Yeah, there it is. So sorry, this isn't fully functioning. I didn't want to waste a lot of time linking dead pages to each other, but in some instances, if you want to get to where I'm at, I'll send you this email that takes you to, this is what a neighborhoods list page will look like, and it'll take you to that page. And this is what the blog template page will look like. Here's a header of a blog and the date and some intro text that's capped, and then the read article button, and then you have your two categories, which are art and some other category, a general category, and then your archive. So I wanted to keep this like a very bare bones blog. We're not going to make anything fancy here, and I get that through the WordPress application they could probably insert an image, but for now we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it as is, and if you actually click on these, it'll take you to a sample blog post. What I didn't do is make a back button, so maybe you can kind of help me with how the best way to handle that, or if we need to put a crumb trail. Like, I don't know. I don't want it to be too complicated. I want to keep it very, very bare bones and simple. But here's the blog article or single post page. I think it is a single post PHP page. Then you have, the about a static page that I showed you, which obviously they should be able to change this Google map on the back end and this phone number and this email. So those will be custom field types. And then here, obviously, this content they could do through the WordPress WYSIWYG editor, but just it would have to, match kind of this end styling. So hopefully that's not too complicated. The privacy policy, which is at the bottom of the page, it's just going to be a bunch of header text and paragraph text. Again, they can also and should also be able to do that just from the WYSIWYG editor. So I don't think we need custom field types. Same with privacy policy. I'm sorry, disclaimer. The same thing. So let me see what else, just to make sure I went through everything. So neighborhood, you have page 1, right? Because here's another neighborhood that I actually did. And I want to actually go over one more point here. Again, this was just to show that there's different colors in the different neighborhoods. This neighborhood is Georgetown. So obviously it has its places, which I didn't do, and its gallery and its history and its points of interest, but they will all follow the same template. So my question to you is, and I know it's a lot of data entering, and I'm going to more than likely just do a few of them and have the client do the rest, but the neighborhood pages would all have to be created. So those would be their own pages. Below those pages, each page, they would have to create a places page, a gallery page, using the places template, the gallery template, the history template, the points of interest template, but link it somehow to Georgetown. So that's what the part I think I'm not getting, is how do they link to a particular neighborhood, even though they all are going to have the same template. So that's where I'm running into problems of thinking how to structure it. So sorry if there's speaking in the background. And then all the neighborhoods will have their own background image, which will also be static. The last point that I wanted to kind of make as I move into this, because I don't want the screencast to get too long, here is just a second neighborhood, is that once you actually get into the place template page, that would be this one. Is there any way to allow them to have a custom field type that they can enter a custom image, so that we don't have to be constantly like updating another image and getting into, I mean, if it's not too hard to get into the PHP the way you structure it, I'll do it. I have no problems. But I don't want them to have the notion that I'll just be here to always enter the images. I'll probably end up charging them for it. And if it's something that you would be interested in doing kind of as a follow-up maintenance, I can totally set that up. But the point is that they may not have all these images yet, but they're going to need the placeholder for this image. So I'm very unaware. I'm aware how to do in the CSS. I'm very unaware how to create a custom field type that would allow them to enter the image and place it as a background image, that's 100% width, and kind of positioned a little bit so that the image shows through. So I need help on that stuff. I don't know. Another thing you'll notice about the page when you're actually at the place, so this is the name of the place, it's called Oxford House, that's the name of the building, and it's in the neighborhood DuPont Circle. So when you're in the place, there's just going to be a very quick little description bio on the place that they'll need to enter. This header will never change, so they don't need a custom field type for that. This header will never change, nor will this one. We just need one form. It's all going to lead to the same email address, so we don't need multiple email addresses, but we do need to allow them to change this description and add this listing information, and that's it. I know it seems like I'm not trying to play it down, because it is a lot, but a lot of it's repetitive. So the thing is to really look at this as a whole, and using the sitemap that I'm going to provide you all this information. I'm just going to give it to you, and then you kind of tell me what questions you have. I'll redo this so it's the real sitemap, but the rest of the stuff is like the utility nav, which is up here, the search listings, sorry, I put find listings, and the footer stuff, which has the copyright information, which that's not going to change. And then you have the privacy policy, disclaimer, and the social media icons, which would just need, even if you have a good plugin that could be used, that would be fantastic. I know there's like Super Sexy Social or something like that. I forget the name of it, but it was one of the ones that you could use on your blog posts, so that if they wanted to share the blog post, we could just add that plugin or something like that. And then there's Askomet or something like that for the spamming, that we could add that. I don't want to add too many plugins because it just bogs down the loading. So that's why I want to keep as the jQuery stuff to a minimal. I know we just need it for that little slider on the home page. But that's it, and I want them to have a way to enter these links themselves as a list. So I know it's a lot, but I think in time you'll get it, and I know with your brilliant mind you'll be able to figure out a way to do this. And I just want to first answer all your questions and then throw a number at you to see if you could do this for the price that I would be able to afford. or if you just want to say, okay, well, I think I can do this for this amount, and then we can work from there. So um, let me know, kind of, because I'll be honest, my max budget is about $1,000. So if this can be done for $1,000, that would be fantastic. Again, I'm willing to enter the pages and put all the content. I just need something that, again, they can enter and create new pages and have them come up on their neighborhood lists, and everything else that I went through in this blog. I'm gonna also type it up in a Word doc and send it to you, but I think this screencast is long enough. Thanks, Sarah, and I'll have some other follow-up screencasts on the CSS and that kind of stuff. But thank you very much. Bye.